Buenos días. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. Bienvenidos a la Congregación Unitariana Universalista de Asheville. Soy la reverenda Claudia Jiménez y soy la ministra de fe en esta congregación. I'm Reverend Claudia Jiménez and I serve this congregation as Minister of Faith Development. Queremos que sepan, we want you to know, que quien quiera que sea, whoever you are, quien quiera que ame, whoever you love, venga de donde venga, wherever you come from, estés donde estés en el viaje de explorar quién eres, wherever you are on the journey of exploring who you are, eres valiosa y digna de amor. You are worthy of love, and you have dignity. Eres bienvenida aquí. You are welcome here. And today we have a special service. Today is our Ingathering, all ages, whole church service, and it is part of our annual launch for all of our programs and our coming back together in the fall. So if you are online, please take a moment to gather a bowl of water, a little bit of salt, and maybe a stone or something small, a bead, to throw into the water, and of course, your chalice, so that from home you can also be part of our gathered community today. I also invite you, if you're online, to type in the chat where you are visiting from so that you all can say hello to each other and you can be welcomed. We are glad that you are here for our Ingathering water service. Let us prepare for worship with our centering music.
Reverend Kathy Harrington and I serve as the interim minister for this congregation as they prepare to search for their new minister. So the chalice lighting this morning is written by Leslie Tashahaki. And Reverend Claudia would like to invite some of the children to assist her as we light our chalice. We gather as many drops, each winding our own path down life's surfaces and ruts. Here we pool together as a single body, flowing together for a time. Together we are a stream, at times even a river. For our shared force, we can travel towards oceans of meaning and seas of connection. And now we invite the children to come forward to bring a blue drop to symbolize our gathered community. You want to put some in? And so we begin today by remembering that our water ceremony, which is an annual tradition in the Unitarian Universalist movement. So today, our water communion, we honor a ritual that was created by a Unitarian Universalist women's conference in the 1980s.
Those who created this ceremony sought to find ways to connect the worship experience of our churches more closely with the rhythms of the earth.
The mingling of water brought from many places serves to remind us that we are vitally connected with each other and all living things.
Gathered from our many journeys, this water is brought here and poured into a common vessel. And here are our common vessels, where it symbolizes our returning to this community to worship in the fall season.
Drop by drop, our community widens and deepens. It learns rhythms and tides. It scours rough edges and nourishes our growth.
It is mighty, but not fixed in form. It flows, adapting to the landscape, undermining structures of fear, harboring and sustaining life.
So here we gather, bringing together all that we are with our hopes and our aspirations for this community.
Pulled by many tides, we covenant together to join in a common endeavor to serve a larger vision and a greater hope.
And it is important as we regather for this coming year that we remember our covenant together. It is our commitment that we make to one another. And our board president, Clyde Harden, is going to lead us in reciting and recommitting to our covenant.
Please read our covenant together with me in unison. It's up here. I'll be reading up there. Recognizing we are individuals who need one another, we stand as a community held together by the promises we make and keep. We promise to share the ministry of our congregation through our gifts of time, talent, and money. Care for and support each other. Celebrate our intentional diversity with joy and gratitude. attend to our differences with openness, compassion, and trust, create healing by listening and speaking in the spirit of love, be steadfast and supportive of our community in times of disagreement, strive to live our Unitarian Universalist principles and congregational mission. Our life together declares that the future of each depends on the good of all, and the future of all depends upon the good of each.
Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams once said that church is a place where you get to practice what it means to be human. And we all know that this is true. Being human together in community can sometimes be complicated. It is complicated and can be challenging. This is why we have covenants. Unitarian Universalism is a creedal faith. And it's not a creedal faith, we are a covenantal faith. But what does that mean, a covenantal faith? A covenant is not a vision. A vision is the carefully defined picture of where a congregation wants to be in 5 or more years. It is the dream of what a congregation can become. It's not a mission. A mission is the concise statement of what the congregation wants to be known for, or known as, through the wider community and the wider world. What does this congregation want to mean to this Asheville community and to each other? A covenant is a statement of how members of this congregation will be with and behave toward one another. It is a promise or vow that we make to one another and to the congregation as a whole. Our Unitarian Universalist congregational polity is affirmed by our covenant with one another to support, to honor, and to grow in our affection for ourselves and for the world. Our vision of becoming better people, better parents, better citizens of the world is not only made possible by our covenant, it is made possible by our willingness to walk together on the journey in using that covenant. And having a covenant as a guide does not mean that we are not allowed to disagree with one another. Our covenant simply states that when we do disagree, we will stay the course. We will stay, we will listen, we will honor and acknowledge one another as we work towards understanding. Francis David once said, "We need not think alike to love alike." I want to just share a little reflection about a time when I was in seminary. My favorite sacred place to go was Muir Woods, a redwood forest in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's a part of a very large rainforest that extends from Alaska to south of the Monterey Bay. The air is so pure it almost feels as if you've been hooked up to an oxygen tank when you stand in the center of those magnificent trees. The forests are lush and moist. They are home to over 1,500 invertebrates, 100 different species of mosses and lichens, and over 100 species of birds and animals in the crown, home to 3,000 different invertebrates and 700 kinds of plants and animals and fungi on the ground. Some of the old-growth redwoods are hundreds and even thousands of years old, and they're standing up to 300 feet tall. The redwood forest is a rainforest and has a lot in common with the tropical rainforests in Central and South America. And a rainforest is all about water. Our theme this morning is water. The trees absorb water from the surrounding streams through their root systems, but they also get water from the fog that comes rolling in from San Francisco Bay. If it weren't for the fog in the Bay Area, the trees would not survive. And the reason why I think the redwood trees are a really great metaphor for covenant and for church is because I believe they're the perfect metaphor for living fully human and well. Redwood trees grow close together, and some even grow in perfect little circles like fairy rings. They call them fairy rings, and this is how they survive. The roots spread out as much as 150 feet, but they only go into the ground as deep as 6 feet. Pretty shallow when you consider that tree is 300 feet tall. How does that happen? What happens is that the roots of these ancient trees wrap and twine around each other to hold each other up. They help one another in community, intermingling, sharing their nourishment, creating new life, while at the same time offering sanctuary to living things, to plants and animals and birds and insects, and providing the very air we breathe. You, the people of this Unitarian Universalist congregation of Asheville, are like these great trees. Each one of you has a role in the life of this church, committing yourself to community, to wrapping your values around issues that matter, to joining your passion for creating a better world, no matter how challenging it is. Sharing your gifts, caring for one another, and those in our world whose voices have been historically silenced. And your congregation truly is a sanctuary, and it's a place of nourishment, growth, and healing. Unitarian Universalism at its best can be the life-saving oxygen that will help others in need. It's the breathing space that can offer hope and liberation for all of us, because we recognize that we may have been suffocating under a shroud of white supremacy culture and inequity. Until everyone is free, no one is free. Being a Unitarian Universalist comes with a moral response. As the late Dr. Elizabeth Strong said, we don't have to fight the theological war. Our ancestors did that for us. But we better, by God, know our history and what our ancestors lived and died for. We are called to make certain that our Unitarian Universalist faith lives on through our church and through our own lives. We have been given this torch, and it's our responsibility to shine our lives. So a closing prayer about this reflection: teach us the wisdom of water in redwood forests, and the wisdom that life will have its falls, sometimes like a mountain stream tumbling over round stones, sometimes like threads of rain spun from clouds, sometimes in breathtaking cascades. Teach us the wisdom of water, that each fall is finite, each ends in contact with the earth. May we remember that we in this community are as earth to each other. We cushion each other's fall, lessening the impact, supporting one another through hard times. We are the ground of blessed community. Teach us the wisdom of water, that we will rise again from each fall, sometimes like a mist breathed from neighborhood trees, sometimes like a geyser shouting from the earth, and sometimes as imperceptibly as evaporation from the sea. May it be so. Amen. And now I invite you to come share the water that you have brought to mingle with others. And if you didn't bring water, we have pitchers of water. And while you are coming up to share your water, be thinking about what you find life-giving in this community. What do you receive? And maybe think about something that you might be contributing or giving to others in the coming year. And as we do this, we're going to sing hymn number 402, From You I Receive. We're going to sing it through 2 times. But we know it'll take longer than this short song to pour our water, so Les will continue to play, and Claudia and I will step up and assist. But first, we're going to pour our water.
So friends, here we have this water, this symbol of our community, this sustenance without which we cannot live. And as you were coming forward to share your waters, you were invited to think about what is life-giving about religious community and what might be the gifts that you bring to this community. So I invite you to take a moment and say hello to somebody sitting next to you and share something that is life-giving or a gift that you bring that you can give back to community. It could be the larger community also. So say hello to each other and share something that was on your mind as water was being shared. Oh, no, I just wanted to look at the time. I know. So we won't be doing that, like at the end, it'll be just the Post-its and no sharing. No sharing. Because it'll be too much.
We can invite people to look at them as they go out.
Yes, yes. Just do the background. All right, what a lovely sound of all of your voices, sharing, seeing old friends, welcoming new friends. What do we give? What do we receive? Why are we here? Look around this room. Look at all the ages, our young people, our young adults, our elders. That is represented in these bowls. And today, as we read our covenant, which reminds us of the agreements that we make with each other, which reminds us that even though we agree to be loving and caring, sometimes we miss the mark, and sometimes we have to apologize because none of us is perfect, right? But in the end, we have commitments. We have commitments that are rooted in our faith and in our values as Unitarian Universalists. And we're going to explore those commitments today through music and embodiment. So I am going to invite you, as you are willing and able, to participate in the UU Hokey Pokey, because it summarizes those commitments. You can do this sitting down, you can do this standing up, you can do this any way your body feels comfortable doing. So let us begin. The words will be on the screen, and Les is going to sing along, accompany on the piano. He's not going to sing along. I will do the singing. So let us begin together. We're going to go first to our minds, all right? You put your mind in, you put your mind out, you put your mind in and you shake it all around. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the world around. That's what it's all about. You put your helping hands in, you take your helping hands out. You put your helping hands in and you shake them all around. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the world around. That's what it's all about. You put your loving hearts in, you put your loving hearts out. You put your loving hearts in and you shake it all around. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the world around. That's what it's all about. put your whole self in, you put your whole self out, you put your whole self in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey dokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Woo! All right? And isn't that what it's all about? We put our minds in, we put our helping hands in, we put our hearts in, and we are vulnerable and human, and we put our whole selves in. That's what we do as community, and that's what we do when we covenant. So thank you for enjoying the UU Hokey Pokey this morning.
We needed to move. So now that we've explored our Unitarian Universalist commitments, and you were awesome, by the way, we are now going to bless our communal waters. The blessing of the water is written by Ranwa Hamami. And you're invited to respond. This is participatory, so after we read, then you respond with, "This water is sacred."
Can you say that? This water is sacred. You got this.
This water is sacred. It is made sacred by the many hands that have poured it with intention and love, the many stories that each drop contains, and the many lives surrounding it in this unique moment, connected by commitment and faith.
This water is sacred. This water is sacred. May it continue to flow through this gathered community with shining reflections of the unique gifts that flow through each of its members.
This water is sacred. May it continue to nurture this community with sustaining hope that we journey together through ripples of growth and change. This water is sacred.
May it continue to bless this community with loving reminders of our collective responsibility to one another and the world.
This water is sacred. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes and growth within this community bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors.
This water
is sacred.
May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive ourselves and one another when we make mistakes.
This water is sacred. In moments when we are confused or uncertain, may it bring us clarity of purpose and commitment. This water is sacred.
In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow or pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by deep and abundant love.
This water is sacred. And now it's time for us to share our joys and sorrows, as we often do in the center of our service. And so this morning we're going to do it a little differently. The poet William Blake once wrote that joy and sorrow are woven fine. And so this morning we have bowls of salt water and also of water beads. And so you're invited to come forward and place some salt in the water to represent your tears of sorrow, and add water beads to symbolize the joy, to represent the happiness that is woven into our lives. And if you are at home, you can now add some salt to your water for your sorrow, or add a stone to symbolize your joy. And Claudia and I will assist. If there's anybody who didn't feel comfortable standing and would like for Reverend Claudia to put salt and joy in the water, tears and joy, please raise your hand. We will do that right now. There's somebody up there. Thank you. Anybody else? Over here? Okay. Okay. And now we are going to, now that we've explored our commitments, we did that. The video. Oh, now we have a wonderful video. Meditation music.
Water, carry me down, rock me in your arms, sail me on by the river downs, take me with the wind, guided by the moon, sing to me a sweet, clear water tune. In winter she's safe beneath her shade, where work parties gather to paint her toe to head. They clean her bow to stern and down below. Soon she will be ready with the melting ice and snow. Water, carry me down, rock me in your arms, sail me on by the river towns, take me with the wind, guided by the moon, sing to me a sweet, clear water tune. Swans return as the ice recedes, beckoning the blossoms, awakening the seeds, bending on the sails, we're nearly through. Springtime we push off the dock and sail downstream to you. Water, carry me down, rock me in your arms, sail me on by the river towns, take me with the wind, guided by the moon, sing to me a sweet, clear water tune. Through the osprey's eyes, navigating the skies, water flows from mountain to the sea. Though I live miles away, I can always say our Hudson River sloop still calls to me. Pete Seeger's dream each time she sails, inspiring folks with songs, enchanting them with tales. Ancient water touches all our lives. Keep our water sacred and we will all survive. Water, carry me down, rock me in your arms, sail me on by the river towns, take me with the wind, guided by the moon, sing to me a sweet, clear water. Water, carry me down, Sail me on by the river towns, take me with the wind, guided by the moon. Sing to me a sweet, clear water tune. Sing to me a sweet, clear water tune.
So this morning, as we gathered, we welcomed each other back into community. We were reminded of our covenant, of the commitments that we make with each other. We took time to share the sorrows and the joys that we bring with us and that we hold, whether we're in this building or at home or somewhere else on this Sunday morning. And before we leave, I have one final story to lead us out of this space. And of course, it has to do with water. So our story is written by Reverend Christopher Boyce, and it's Higgins, A Drop with a Dream. Have any of you heard that story before? Oh, goody. All right. So once upon a time, there was a drop of water. And what was his name? Higgins. And Higgins was no ordinary drop of water. He was a drop with a dream. Now I wonder what dreams you have, because Higgins had a lot of dreams. And he lived in a valley where there was drought, which means that there was not a lot of water. And so we're going to follow Higgins through the valley and through his day. And we're going to need some of you or all of you to participate by being drops. And Les is going to be our cue of when we are a drop. So what do we need to hear to know that we're going to be a drop, Les? All right? So what are you going to do if you're a drop? Okay, so you're going to be able, you can stomp or you can stand and be a drop. So let's practice that, Les. Woo! All right, we got it. We got this. All right, so let me continue my story. So like I said, there was drought in this valley where Higgins lived. And it was so dry, the grass was what color? Brown. And what were the flowers doing? They were drooping and wilting. And what were the trees doing? They were also kind of unhappy. And so Higgins was looking around, and he was like, you know, one of these days, this valley is going to be beautiful again. And he got all excited, and then he said, but what can I do? After all, I'm only one, what? One drop of water. So what he decided to do was to travel throughout the valley and share his dream. And all the other drops, they all kind of listened politely. And he kept telling them his dream, and they're like, one of them said, you know, Higgins, get your head out of the clouds. You cannot spend your whole life dreaming. So Higgins decided he had to do something to make his dream come true. And he began to think and think and think. And one day, he walked by a rusty bucket. And what do you think he decided to do? He decided that if there were enough drops of water in that bucket, there would be enough water to sprinkle on some of the flowers. And what would happen to the flowers? Right? They would be able to be fed and to share their beautiful color and beautiful faces. So Higgins got really excited, and he went around and he told the drops his idea. But what do you think the drops said? Who cares? They're like, well, maybe they cared a little bit, but they didn't think that they could do anything. And so he decided to do something to convince them, to maybe motivate them. So what do you think he did? He said, I don't know about you, but I am going to do what? I am going to jump in the bucket. Now remember, he's a little drop, and that bucket is pretty tall. So he runs, he gets back. He runs as hard as he can, and he jumps into the air, and what happens? Kerplunk! There he is in the bottom of the bucket. Now close your eyes and imagine what that looks like. One little drop in the bottom of a bucket. Oh, there he is, and there he sat. And for a long time, Higgins was lonely. It seemed like no one was going to join him. But after a while, the other drops were beginning to feel like, this can't continue, this dry grass and these wilting flowers and now these dying trees. And so they looked at each other, and suddenly, what do you think one of the drops said? I'm going in the bucket with Higgins. And so he leapt through the air, and he landed, kerplunk. Then 2 drops yelled, wait for me! And then 10. And then 30. And then 50. And then hundreds of drops. And guess what? That bucket got full. And magically, because this is a story, there were a whole bunch of other buckets. And guess what happened to all those other buckets? They got full of drops. And then a mighty wind came. And what do you think happened to all those buckets? They fell over. And everywhere the water flowed, the grass turned green again, and the flowers bloomed, and the trees were upright once more. And all this happened. Why? Because Higgins had a dream, and he shared his dreams. And when there were enough buckets and the wind behind them, then that proverbial justice rolled down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. So today, as we prepare to close our time together, I invite you to think about what dreams and hopes you have for this new year of religious community, of deepening faith, of a time when we are called to put our faith in action and work for justice. What might you be called to do? And our ushers are going to come around the room with baskets with a few Post-its, and we invite you to write some of your hopes and dreams, and even hopes and dreams for school this year. What are you looking forward to? And just put them up here so that we have witnesses in our community for our hopes and dreams. And as you leave this morning, I'll invite you, or you can just decide if you want to come up and read about people's hopes and dreams. So let us share the Post-its and think about our hopes and dreams for this new church year. Take a look. So many dreams and so many hopes. Thank you for being vulnerable, for being creative, and for sharing what is on your heart. These will be here today after service, and then we will have them in Sandberg Hall so that when you come and gather, you can be reminded of those hopes and dreams. And one of the last images I want to leave you with, so these are all our drops. Here we have our hopes and dreams. Some of them are hopes and dreams for myself, for my loved ones, for community. And if I can do this right, it's kind of like a Mobius strip. Ha! Any teachers in here that can remind me how this works? It's half a twist. Thank you. All right, so don't leave with that part. Now, the part that I want you to leave with is like that Mobius strip, right, that is going around and it's kind of infinite. Sometimes it's about me, and sometimes it's about us. But it's always about community. Sometimes we need to refresh, but we don't need to get stuck there. We refresh and we come back and we do the work of love and justice. We refresh and we come back. And that is what we do here. Here we refresh. Here we find each other. Here we are inspired. And then we go forth and we bring that love and we bring those dreams and hopes to fruition.
Reverend Claudia, it looks like our bucket is full. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So now it's time for the work of the congregation. We have a lot of visitors this morning, and I wonder if you feel comfortable just standing up and saying where you're from and saying your name. We just want to welcome you. Yes, yay.
I'm Aria. Oh, hello, everybody. Is it on? Yeah. I'm Aria. I grew up in the UU Church in Morehead City, North Carolina, and I've been doing this ever since I was like 3. So it was really nice to come back and be at the water ceremony. But I go to Warren Wilson, and this is one of our teacher people. Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you.
My name is Luke. I also go to Warren Wilson. We came together, and originally I'm from just north of San Francisco, about 5 miles from Muir Woods. And yeah, super grateful to be here. Thank you, guys.
You're
Beautiful
welcome.
service.
Thank you. We're glad you're here.
Hello, my name's Jasmine. This is my family, and we've been in Nashville for about a year, and we came from California. My parents came from Pennsylvania, and we're really happy to have found this beautiful congregation.
Oh, welcome. We're glad you're here. Welcome.
Hello. This is my wife, Laurie Cook. My name is Peter Cook. We moved here. We live in Cullowhee, which is about an hour away. We moved here about 9 months ago. We previously were at a UU church just outside of Philadelphia in Media. We were there for 16 years, so this is all very familiar. Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, I'm Cynthia. I haven't been here in about 25 years, and I attended here for about 10 years with my kids. So my daughter is Stephanie Strickland, and she's 50. So if there's anybody still here, she'd probably like to say hi. Cynthia Wade, and it's great to be back. And I don't know what else to say. I've been in Chattanooga helping my dad with my mom, and I'm a little bit of a nomad right now. So I've been in Raleigh before that. So it's great to be here.
Welcome back. It's good to see you. Welcome back.
Hello, my name's Jason Campbell. This is my family here, Lila, Tillman, and Katie. We've lived here for 8 years, first time to this church, so hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Good morning, I'm Nancy Franklin.
And I'm Tim Franklin.
And we moved to Asheville about 2 years ago during COVID, and so we were members of the Montclair, New Jersey Unitarian Universalist congregation prior to moving here.
And I grew up as a Unitarian and have been a member of 9 previous Unitarian congregations. And that's more a testament to a nomadic career than an overzealous Unitarian. So anyway.
Welcome. Welcome. Wonderful. We're so glad you're here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ethan Miller. I've been in Asheville for about a year now, from Raleigh originally. First time here and first time ever at a UU church. So, yeah, really excited to be here. Grew up Presbyterian, and I'm excited to explore Unitarian Universalism.
Welcome. Thank you all for your willingness to stand up and be vulnerable. It's time for our work of the congregation, but first Les has an announcement to make.
So earlier we watched a video of Emma's Revolution. They're a wonderful duo. They will be here with us on September 25th to provide music for the Pride service. So please be here.
We need to. Thank you. All right. So the announcements ran at the beginning of the service. If you missed them, you can find them online at our website or in the weekly e-news. And our community plate recipient this month is Beloved. The details of Beloved are also in the e-news. And so now it's time for our offering. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace, justice, love, and joy. Each one of you, by your commitment of time and energy and resources, helps make that grand vision real. Our offering will now be gratefully received. For your gifts of time, presence, talents, and treasure, we are grateful. Our closing words are by Kaylee Rice. All rivers run to the sea. It starts with a drop and then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and then finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it in a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community, and may you depart this sacred space with hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. Please return. All rivers run to the sea. And now we're going to sing our closing song, Longtime Son. Thank you for being here and sharing your time with us. And it's a sing-along. The postlude, after our closing song, I want you to know the postlude's a sing-along. So hang out because Les has a plan for us to sing along. And so, please rise in body or spirit and let us sing our closing song, Longtime Son. Guide your way home. A peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. Join us for a time of fellowship in Sandberg Hall.